Howdy. Have you ever heard about the Secure Milk Supply Program before? If not, we're going to talk about it today, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit and try and understand better whether it applies to you and your business or not. So let's get started and let's talk about it.
Hi there, I am Dr. Gabriella Perez-Hernandez. I am the new director here at Southwest Regional Dairy Center, and I'm the specialist at dairy at Tarleton State University. Today I'm interviewing...
Hi, I'm Dr. Dee Ellis. I'm a veterinarian in the Texas A&M Agri-Life System, and today we're going to talk about biosecurity in the dairy setting.
Thank you for being with us today, Dr. Ellis. Can you tell us a little bit more about what is the Secure Milk Supply Program?
Sure. The Secure Milk Supply Program, it's a national program that establishes a framework of biosecurity best management practices for dairies. And it involves a self-evaluation where they sit down and take a look at how they're doing business with their dairy cattle and come up with practical ideas to make their biosecurity better.
You were working with a dairy, and let's say using this farm as an example. How would you walk through the producer in order to develop a biosecurity plan?
Well, there's lots of components to a effective plan, and it starts with the individual business reality of the dairy, and every dairy is different. And so we sit down with the dairy farmer and just talk about what is the reality of their day-to-day business operations. And we talk about things like who comes every day, who are your visitors, where do your cattle come and go to, where do you unload them, where do you load them, where does your grain dropped off, what kind of record system you might have. Traceability is very important in a disease outbreak. And so we just talk about any of the touch points or the vulnerabilities that could bring a disease into the dairy and raise the awareness. And from there, it's up to the dairy folks to decide what's reasonable, what they can and can't do.
So what is the importance of training your workers on a biosecurity plan?
Well, this might be the most important part of it at all. We can talk about cattle movements and human movements and the day-to-day activities of machinery coming and going, but if your workers don't understand what is good biosecurity, it may all be for naught. It is basically a system of communication where your workers at least understand that they play a role in preventing the introduction of disease, and there's some good management practices, some that require training. At least once a year you should probably sit down with your workers and talk about some biosecurity protocols and treatments and options that they can play a role with.
Okay. So Dr. Ellis, what are some of the key benefits that dairy producers are going to take if they decide to be part of this program?
Well, anytime you're developing a biosecurity plan, it takes the dairy farmer just sitting down and taking a look at his or her own operation, evaluating the best management practices that will help protect them during a disease outbreak, before the disease outbreak, and just protecting them on a day-to-day basis. Plus, the national program supports the industry initiative to show that the dairy industry as a whole is proactive in biosecurity, which could lead to consumer confidence in milk and milk products.
Okay, is there any cost related for participating on this program? And also, I believe some producers might be wondering how their information is going to be managed if they decide to be part of the program.
No, in theory, this is a free program. The template is provided at the national level for folks to use. It was developed in partnership between the producers and the government. But the information within the plan, once it's developed, is privately owned by the producer. It's their plan. And so the cost is free. You have a template to follow, and at the end of the day, it's just information for the dairy to protect themselves as needed during their day-to-day activities.
So their information is not going to be shared?
It is not given to the government in any way. The only involvement a government might have is ask a dairyman, do you have a plan? It's almost like an insurance policy to help you during an outbreak. Well, after all, watching this video, I hope you've learned a little bit about the biosecurity programs and the Secure Milk Supply Plan and understand that there may be a place for this in your operation. And in addition to that, you may want to talk to your veterinarian for more information, as often they will help you. Talk to the folks at your co-op where you deliver your milk to. They may have some resources available. And of course, always check with your local Texas A&M Extension agent as they have information to give you as well.
If you want to learn more information, please visit animalscience.damu.edu.